Alright, to use ATVO, I'm going to try to do my best to explain this to you. So you'll load up ATVO. This is the screen you're going to see. You're going to do theme, load. Sorry, I screwed something up. Alright, open this box over here on my other monitor. I'm going to have to drag between some monitors, but do search. Theme editor, themes. I'm going to send you this folder that stars update, and you'll see dynamic theme here. Double click it, load theme. Take a couple seconds. Alright. So that loads that in automatically. Sometimes a couple of those screens remain up, but this is one of the screens that you're going to use. You can kind of resize this. I usually have this on one of my other alternate monitors, or my second monitor. Scoring box is this top top left box where it says finishing or whatever. So I'm gonna hit X, and that's gonna close that out. Other screens to use here would be timing screen. So that's gonna give you this. This is where you get a lot of info and whatnot. Sorted by position, however you want to do it. And then so like controls and whatnot, this rewind, when you click rewind, it prompts it to play the instant replay thing. You can select your driver. The top four things here don't seem to work for whatever reason. This first box here is your camera angle, so usually you're just going to switch this to TV1 or whatever, and then figure out who your leader is. It's the 23 car currently, so I'm just going to go 23 car, and then you'll hit apply, and it'll switch you to him. You can also double click a car, and it'll switch to them on that camera angle. You can also do auto apply, so that anytime you change something, it'll auto apply it. I don't usually use that. I usually just manually do that myself. So I'm gonna uncheck that. Hide UI would be if you accidentally left the UI up or whatever. Other things that I will use, I already have it opened up, but you got track map, so I'll usually have these four open. So track map, and then there's session events. The session events, what I don't like is it pops up at the top. The newest one, I have it filtered to only show, I'll do only showing crashes. But when it gets a new thing, it doesn't like automatically scroll it down. So you kind of got to periodically check this and scroll up. But then if there is an incident, you can double click it. It'll go to that driver. I think it's probably just picking up on, I don't know what it's picking up on. You can kind of see it in the background here. But whatever. So these are usually the four boxes I'll have up. But then I'm going to go ahead and move these boxes off this screen and then play with the actual overlay. I'll just kind of walk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And it's all going to be using that thing that has all of the buttons on it. That's how you really control everything. I mean, you may need to, for some reason, and I can't figure out how to do it, but sometimes when you load it up, it'll load the weather and I think the results page on top of one another. If you just hit the X's next to weather and then results page 1, hit the X, it'll get rid of it. So scoring box automatically loads, so I just click scoring box. Some of these it'll light up blue when you enable it. I don't know why it doesn't do it for all of them. I haven't quite figured it out. You don't need to worry about any of the hide flag, screen flag, yellow, white or checkered, that type of stuff. So V ticker would be the vertical ticker. So if I click it, that's how you load this ticker. The drop down below it, you can change up what it shows. I usually just leave it on gap. Find that to be probably most useful. Interval would do, I think, the gap between each individual car. maybe not as useful to gap to the leader. So I'm going to hit the X next to V ticker. It'll go away. H ticker is the horizontal one. Same deal with the drop down below it. And then to the right of that, you can do enlarge H ticker, which gives you a third line at the top, and then the drop downs below it. Text, you can type in that text box next to it and type whatever you want to. Like I'll do, type hello, and then click text, and it'll put hello up there. Hit X, it'll get rid of it. I could see you using top 4. That'll just constantly show who the top 4 are at any given time. Click X next to that. Class leaders you're not going to use for this. It's left over from the old thing. So right now you have H ticker. So what I'm going to do is below V ticker, at the bottom you'll see H ticker and then an arrow, and it'll say V ticker. If you click that, it'll switch between the two. And now that the vertical ticker is the one that's up, under the H ticker, if you click V ticker, arrow, H ticker, it'll do the opposite. So it just switches between the two. When I first load a session, I'll usually click weather. That'll bring up this. Just kind of highlight that stuff. And then like after qualifying's over, I'll pull up grid. And that'll show you like how everybody qualified. And then you can click next page, and it'll scroll through everybody. And then if you click reset, it'll take it back to the first page, and then the X next to grid, it'll close it out. Driver info, you can click it and it'll put that specific driver's info at the bottom. Car is not really, that would work for the next gen because it'll show you different cars, but for this everybody's super late model, so it doesn't really matter. But you can look at best lap, you can look at what their last lap was, a whole slew of different things in there. Something I'll commonly use, go ahead and close that out. I'm going to have last lap selected, and I'm going to click compare, and that will compare the current driver you're highlighted with the driver that is directly behind them. So I'll pretty commonly use that. The gap right here, it shows +4. That's showing you the gap between the two drivers. Obviously, the person in 26th place is not racing anymore, so it's not really showing you anything useful. But if you say I'll go to the leader here, it'll show you live gap between the two drivers, so you can use that to highlight what's going on. I'm gonna close that out. And then, obviously, fastest lap, you don't need to click that. It will pop that up real time as someone sets a fast lap. It'll just put it on the screen. Then the last thing, and I kind of had to bootleg this myself, at the very end of the race, you can click results page 1. This is actually I think how we finished in the race. So all those gaps are all weird because we're still ongoing and whatnot. Where it's bootleg is I couldn't figure out how to do the next page and have it like transition kind of like the grid. So I have results page 1, page 2, and page 3. It shows 14 cars per. So once I go through page 1, I'll click page 2. And then if you happen to have enough drivers to have page 3, I'd click it. And then when you're done, don't click reset because that kind of screws up something. I didn't do something right and I haven't quite figured it out. So I'll just click the X when I'm done with it. Really, that's about it. Let me know if you have any issues or questions. That can take some time to get used to it for sure, and there's a lot of info on the screen. But that hopefully gives you a general idea how to use it.